Here at Studio NPL, we are always looking for ways to reduce and reuse where we can. And one big way we can do this is by using less paper towels and more reusable ones.
Hey friends, this is Ashley from Studio NPL, and today I am making unpaper towels. These are a really awesome way to reduce waste around your home, and they're really easy to make. You only really need your scissors, your sewing machine, and an old bath towel that has seen better days. Maybe it has some holes or some spots on it. It's looking a little ragged, but it still has a lot of mess cleaning life left in it. So go ahead and find your towel, and let's get to making some unpaper towels. Alright, let's get started. So first you'll want to decide what size you want. I went ahead and used a paper towel for my inspiration, and this is 8 inches by 11 inches. Whatever size you do choose, make sure to add ½ an inch around each edge, and that's for your seam allowance. Mine turned out to be 9 inches by 12 inches when I was cutting them out. So go ahead, lay your towel flat, and trace these out with either a ruler or find a book that's the perfect size. And then just lay it down, trace it around, and then cut. Alright, so by now you've probably noticed that cutting and playing with this terry cloth towel material can be quite a mess. So we're going to want to bind off these edges so that they don't fray any longer. If you do have a serger at home, go ahead and use that, and if you do not, you can do a zigzag stitch like this. And that's what I'm about to show you. So set your machine to do the widest zigzag possible. Go ahead and place your needle, place the fabric under the needle probably about 1/4 inch away from the edge, and you can adjust this as you go. Your goal is for one side of the needle, one side of the zigzag to go off the edge, and one to stay in the fabric. So go ahead and do a back stitch. And you can redirect this as needed, as long as one side is on, one side is off, or close to off. Do your back stitch when you're finished. And it should look like this. You're going to do this to each edge, all the way around of each towel. Now, it can be kind of time consuming, and it's all about practice, but this is really going to help your towels last a long time. Okay, so this is our last step, and basically all we're going to be doing is folding down the ½ inch seam allowance that we added when we cut. We're going to sew that down, and it's going to look like this. And I've already done a little bit of this towel, but I will show you the rest of it. So you're basically just going to find where ½ an inch is away from your needle on your presser foot, and you can fold, and you can also press before you're to the sewing machine. So you can have these all pre-creased, and then you don't have to fight it with your hands as much if it's difficult. Whenever you're ready, you just get started with a few stitches, do some back stitches to back tack, and then go ahead and sew. So we're approaching an edge. What do we do? So before you get there, you're going to want to fold this up towards your presser foot and just hold it right there. You can use the fingers of your left hand to kind of do this. So you're just holding it down and you're letting the machine pull the fabric in. And you can do a little back stitch if you want to. You don't have to. Alright, now, this is a good spot to turn. So if you want to do a 90-degree turn, you just need to make sure that your needle is in the fabric. So make sure it's down there, and that's going to hold it in place so you don't break your stitch line. Then lift your presser foot and then pivot. This is really, really useful technique in sewing. And it makes a really crisp edge if you're going to do an angle. Alright, now we're ready to blast off. Uh-oh, we have another edge. Fold up towards your presser foot, just hold it in place. Let the machine pull the fabric in,
Again, needle down in the fabric, lift your presser foot just a little, rotate your piece. There you go. And then one more time. And do a little back stitch. Just secure that corner. All right. And it's gonna look like this. And that, my friends, is an unpaper towel.
All right, so that's all there is to it. Once you've hemmed all of the edges for your unpaper towels, they're ready to go. You can just fold these up and keep them in a basket next to whatever sink you use the most, and it will really help you cut down on using disposable towels and creating waste. Also, make sure you get a dirty bin. So whenever you're finished with one, you throw it in here and it's ready for laundry day. And if you want to take it to the next level, you can add snaps and make them more dispensable, but they will absorb the exact same amount either way. Go ahead and make your towels and send us photos. We want to see what you've been working on. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Our friends at Nashville Metro Public Works sent us a video for a fun, simple craft to do as the weather's getting warmer. Watch this video to learn how to recycle your own paper.
Hi, my name is Jen Harmon. I'm with Metro Nashville Public Works, and today I'm going to show you how to make recycled paper using things that you can find around your house. The first step to creating your paper is to create a paper pulp. You want to take whatever paper you're going to use and tear it up into 1-inch squares. Once you have your paper torn up, you want to soak it in some warm water. The next step to making your paper pulp is to blend it. There are 2 different ways you can do this. I've chosen to use a blender today. It's a little bit faster. After your paper has soaked for a couple of minutes, you can throw it in the blender for about 30 seconds until you get your pulp. The other option is a little bit more fun, but takes a little bit more time. You can let your paper soak for longer, potentially overnight, depending on the type of paper that you've used, and then you can pulp it up by hand, just by getting in there and tearing it with your fingers. The next step is to take your paper pulp and strain it. Once you've strained your paper pulp, it's time to take it outside and press it. So you're going to need your plastic bag and a towel. Lay out your plastic bag with your weights and then flip out your paper pulp onto the plastic bag. So you'll let it dry out in the sun as much as possible, bring it in, and then after about 24 hours, you have perfectly dried paper, ready to use for art projects. If you can get it thin enough, you can even print it, put it through your printer and print something on it.
How I win.
Hello everybody, I'm Keychain, your guest mentor for today for Studio NPL, and I'm also the drummer for the group Lone Star, the country group Lone Star. And so today I'm going to show you just a basic beat, how to play a basic beat. If you played drums before, you probably already know this, but if you haven't ever played drums before, you've always wanted to learn, I'm going to show you just how to break it down and play just a basic beat. And a lot of songs, a lot of famous songs have just a basic beat in it. There's nothing fancy at all. And it creates a really good groove for the music. And it lets the song really come out and the other instruments play. But there's nothing wrong in the world with a basic beat. And it's always how you start. So I'm going to start right now with the bass drum. This is the bass drum, the part I hit with my right foot. I'm right-handed. Now, if you're left-handed, everything would be backwards. But the right foot, I'm going to hit the bass drum 4 times. Okay? Actually, sorry, run that back 2 times. I'm going to go 1. I'm going to count to 4, but I'm going to hit it twice. Okay, so I'm going to count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to hit the kick drum on 1 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can just start with that. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm gonna hit the hi-hat all 4 of those. So I'm gonna hit it twice as many times. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm really hitting it 8 times. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm adding the kick drum in. Like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So you practice that for a little while. So then we're going to add the snare in now. The snare drum is the one that kind of makes all the loud one, the one that makes all the loud sounds. And that's the snare drum. And that's the left hand. So it's going to be like this. Kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare, like that. Now here's the tricky part. I'm going to add the hi-hat in this time. Okay, I'm just going to go. See it? And so the idea behind this is that you would practice this same thing. Once you get that beat down, to whatever you're comfortable with, at whatever speed, you practice that for about 30 minutes, if you can. 30 minutes of uninterrupted practice of that, and it's just what they call muscle memory. And that is basically training your muscles in your brain to do that constantly without really having to think about it. And that just creates a kind of a pattern in your brain, so you just go right to it. But it takes about 30 minutes of uninterrupted practice to really be able to get that down for the muscle memory. So my recommendation is that once you get that beat down, however, if you want to start with the kick drum, do that for 30 minutes, that's fine. If you want to start with the hi-hat, whatever. But the idea is that you practice that beat for about 30 minutes solid. Sounds like a long time, and it is, but that's what you need to get your muscle memory to where that's kind of second nature. So you would go. And try to be as precise as you can no matter what speed you're at. So if you start playing it fast and it gets, and that's no good. You have to start out slow and keep it nice and precise, and no matter what speed, even if it's, doesn't matter. That what matters is that it's nice and precise and clean, and then it'll start to speed up as you get it down to where you go like that. And then as we get into other lessons, I'll try to include some a little bit more complicated things. Once you get that basic beat down, I'll add some more videos, talk about some more fancy beats like that when you're ready for that. But right now, thanks for joining me. I'm Keach Rainwater, the guest mentor for Studio NPL. And be sure and submit your questions to Studio NPL Nashville at gmail.com. Any questions or comments you have. And I'll try to put another video up real soon. And we'll see you next time.
In this video, I'm going to show you how I made a paper mache owl. First, I found a photo for reference. I then made a sketch of all the pieces I would need to construct my armature. To make this armature, I used cardboard, paper, and tape. I drew the shapes I needed on the cardboard before cutting them out. I then built the stump that I wanted the owl to sit atop. To create the body of the owl, I taped crumpled up pieces of paper to the cardboard I cut out. I did this until it was fat enough on both sides. Then I taped the head, body, and stump together. Then I added the wings and feet. After taping it together with masking tape, I was ready for the paper mache clay. I used a recipe from ultimatepapermache.com. It requires 1.5 cups of damp toilet paper, 1 cup joint compound, and 3/4 a cup of glue all. First, I soak the toilet paper in hot water. Then I dried it out and measured it. Then I added the joint compound and glue and mixed it up. Then I spread a layer of the clay on my armature. I added texture for the feathers using the butt of my spreading knife. After letting it dry overnight, it was time to paint. And that's it. Paper mache owl.
If you would like to learn more about any of the tutorials you've just watched, you can find these and many more great books at the Nashville's Public Library. If you have a valid library card, you can also check out ebooks and audiobooks through the Libby and Overdrive app.